Heaven's Journey to Life. Day 4. Why does separation and inequality exist? What one will find with the writing of self-forgiveness is that realizations as solutions to self, this world, open up within and during the writing of self-forgiveness. We have, as human beings, always been waiting for solutions to the problems, consequence, creations of the mind and the world. When with writing self-forgiveness, one will realize that we've in fact been waiting for ourselves. As one writes self-forgiveness is the action of the decision made by self to take responsibility for self. And in taking, giving, gifting self with that responsibility, one becomes equal to and one with the problem, consequence, creations, making the statement, I am taking responsibility for this problem, consequence, creation as me. In becoming the problem, consequence, creation, one will, as the problem, creation, see, find, and realize the solution. We've only created problems, consequences within ourselves and this world because we've separated ourselves from the responsibility and directive principle of what we create in our minds and this world. And in that separation from our creation, we have not seen, realized, understood the solutions because all we're seeing have become is the problem manifested consequence. Therefore, self-forgiveness is the process of no more accepting and allowing separation from self's creation as the mind and this world, but walking the process of self-forgiveness as taking self-responsibility as self, as the mind, and the world that has become the self as self's creation. Self has accepted and allowed self to separate self from. Realize you're the solution. Join us in the process of self-forgiveness so that we can change, transform, stop the manifested consequence, our creation as ourselves, as the mind, and the world has manifested for self and this existence as a whole, due to our accepted and allowed abdication of responsibility and the power of directive principle, as we've accepted and allowed our self-separation, so that we walk, live the solution to as all as equality and oneness. I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to separate me from myself as all as one is equal in approaching each individual part, manifestation, being within my own individual experience towards them, and in as those such individual experiences constructed, programmed a consciousness as a total manifested database embodiment that became the mind consciousness system which regulate, control, and determine all my relationships as separation, as individual I experiences towards existence as me. In this, I have created the world system with and as money, where the world system without is manifested within a database embodiment of regulating, controlling, and determining its relationship towards all of humanity within the context of separation as the world system of money. Interconnect all of humanity with relationship lines as each individual human being as a separate relationship experience towards money of the world system. This equal to and one with the relationship lines I have towards all that is me within this existence, where the relationship, when the relationships that exist stand within the context of separation. I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to create relationships of energy as experiences towards all manifested parts of me, within and as this existence, through and as the mind consciousness system, which manifested me into and as relationships of separation, towards everything and everyone, with those relationship lines consisting of and existing as energy as experiences. Through the mind as me, I created the world system equal to and one with the mind consciousness system, where the world system, as with the mind, have relationship line towards all that is physical within this physical existence, within the manifestation substance of money, as I have relationship lines towards all that is existence within and through the manifestation substance of energy. And so, as I have relationship lines of energy as experiences tuned towards all that is me, where the individual relationships values are determined, controlled, and governed by and through my mind's particular experience tuned towards all parts of and as me, so the world system's relationship lines tuned towards all that is here within this physical existence are determined, controlled, and governed through by the values given by money, to money. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how my definitions of experiences as energy relationships from of the mind to towards all parts, manifestations, beings as me, is equal to and one with the values of money, of the world system that have particular relationships to towards all that is physical within this physical existence, based on the values given to those relationships within and as the starting point of money of and as the world system. I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to, as the mind, value, define my relationships towards all that is me based on how I experience me towards all that is here, equal to and one with what I created, manifested as the world system of money, where money and the values definitions given to the relationship between money and all that is here within this physical existence has become the determining, controlling, influencing manifestation that manifests humanity into and as total separation from themselves, each other, and this physical existence as a whole. I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to create a mind consciousness system of energy that regulate, determine, control, and define the nature, experience, as value definition of all my relationships towards all that is me within and as existence. And within that, creating a world system of money that regulate, determine, control, and define that nature, the nature experience as value definition of all that is physical within and as this existence, where what is here is value defined according to money, the world system, equal to and one with what is here has been value defined according to energy of as the mind. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand the consequence of my very being existing within this existence, where I am one part of a whole in all facets, dimensions, manifestations, and expressions, and whatever I do, whoever I am within, what I do within all that I am, has an effect on everything, everyone as me. And I've simply not seen this because of my accepted and allowed separation from within myself that extended to the without of myself as I've manifested me in a starting point approach to all as me in separation. So that starting point of all that I do, live, create, and express manifested without as separation, where I have come to believe that whatever I do within myself and my living has no consequence and effect on anyone else but me, when in fact my internal reality and external reality is an exact depiction of my belief being an illusion, because still, as I continue participating in energy of as mind, I continue with all my relationships towards all that is me in separation. And so continue participating in my very creation as the world system of money that perpetuates separation within this very physical existence, which do not only enslave, limit, diminish me, but all as me that is and has become enslaved to our creation as the mind of energy and the world system of money. I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to, in fact, deliberately refuse to see the starting point of separation of me, as it has been a deliberate refusal because it was present here the moment I started creating my experiences as relationships towards all that is me in separation of me. I was present here the moment I decided how I prefer experiencing all parts of me that created my relationship lines towards all that is me in separation of me. And so came into existence the layers of the mind as me, as the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious, to deliberately suppress, deny, ignore the consequences of my starting point of separation from myself within and without, where in the conscious mind, I preoccupy myself away from the reality of the consequence of me within myself and this existence. In the subconscious mind, I work, prepare, participate in personalities to continue the cycle of preoccupation within my conscious mind. And in the unconscious mind, I store, layer the real experiences, realizations of myself and what I have become as the consequences I continue creating and manifesting for myself, in myself, and this existence, to not have to face, deal with what I have become and done. Equal to and one with how the world system of money has come to manifest itself within this world, within humanity, where each one, as each human being, have throughout our lives, directly and indirectly, participated in creating, manifesting the world system of money, directly through actual implementation and indirectly through agreement as acceptance and allowance by the virtue of participation. And with this, each one is and has been present here and still is in the continued existence, manifestation of and as the world system of money, directly or indirectly. And with this, as we as human beings throughout our lives have come to realize, see, understand the consequence of our creation as the world system of money, we have instead of standing up and facing it as a voice and a body that stand for all as one, as equal. We have gone into suppression, denial, and or ignorance of the creation manifestation of the world system, and the world system became the manifestation of the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind. The conscious as the elite, preoccupied with all that money can buy. The subconscious, the lower, middle, upper classes that work to produce the monies for the elite in the conscious mind of the world system to continue their preoccupation, and the unconscious as the reality of the consequence of the world system money, as those that starve, are in poverty, famine, that is suppressed, kept hidden, ignored by, through, as the world system of money, as they are left in the dark outskirts of the world system as the whole, to not be faced, seen, dealt with on a daily, constant, continuous basis. I realize, see, and understand that I have, from my starting point of separation from me as all that is me, created a system that separate all that is here from themselves and everything, everyone else. And so within this, I commit myself to identifying through writing and self-forgiveness the separation from of myself that is and has become my mind consciousness system, as I see, realize, and understand that my mind of thoughts, feelings, emotions, internal conversations, personalities, etc., as all the parts, manifestations that can constitute the mind, represent parts of me that I have accepted and allowed myself to separate me from of myself. I commit myself to correcting, realigning my relationships of separation of myself as what my entire mind consciousness system represents, is manifested as, through standing within and as the starting point of equality and oneness, stopping the energy relationships and redefining who I am as with words that I can practically live within and as myself and my human physical body, and so walk my process of stopping energy relationships of separation and walk in agreement with and as myself. I commit myself to establish an agreement with myself where this agreement is where I stand, walk to stop my relationships of separation within myself as my mind, and establish my self-equality and oneness with me as my mind, which I do through writing, self-forgiveness, and self-corrective application as I walk point by point, part by part, construct by construct, and system by system, rewalking the consequence I created as the mind, as a manifestation of my entire total separation from and of myself. And with that, rewalking, I recreate me in and as with the physical as my manifested equality and oneness. And so walk my process of standing, being, becoming equal to and one with that which represents and is equality and oneness, this physical existence as me. I commit myself to, as I walk my process out of separation of mind energy into my equality and oneness as with the physical through writing, self-forgiveness, and self-corrective application, share my process as standing as an example so that others of and as me can see here with me and start walking as equals as we find solutions, directions to our minds and this world system together. As I see, realize, and understand that I alone can't save this world, that we're only going to change the mind and this world system through actual change, transforming of the starting point that created, manifested it in the first place, ourselves. And so the solution is realigning ourselves from the mind energy into the physical and equality and oneness. And from here, stand up and live as the solution on this earth, which will eventually, through our living, as the change transformation of our living, change transform how we approach the world and all and everything within it. And so change transform the world system into a functioning manifestation that in fact stand for equality and oneness and what is, will be best for all. I commit myself to no more accepting and allowing myself to suppress, deny, ignore the reality of me as what I have become as the mind and this world system, but to take the responsibility and directive principle of facing myself as my creation, as the mind and world system, to find and live solutions to the mind and world system for myself, and thus for all as me.